The walls are closing in on Lil Durk's OTF crew, and the courtroom drama is nothing short of explosive, according to an alleged video going viral. Allegations of betrayal, hidden wires, and hitmen flipping on the stand have turned this federal case into a nightmare for Durk. With his circle cracking under pressure and shocking details surfacing, the streets are left wondering, who's next to fold? Lil Durk's hitmen appear in court. The streets are ablaze with chatter about an alleged new courtroom footage surfaced, exposing a bombshell in the case against rapper Lil Durk and his alleged associates. 5 men tied to Durk's Only the Family, OTF collective, were seen taking the stand, spilling details about a murder-for-hire plot that allegedly led to the death of Quando Rondo's cousin, Xavier Lil Pab Robinson. At the center of this courtroom drama is the brutal murder of Lil Pab, who was gunned down at a gas station near the Beverly Center in Los Angeles in August 2022. Federal prosecutors alleged that the attack wasn't a random act of violence, but the result of a calculated plot masterminded by Lil Durk. According to the indictment, 5 men acted as Durk's foot soldiers, carrying out his orders with precision. Those 5 men, Kevon London Grant, 28, aka Cuz or Vonnie, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, 33, aka DD, Keith Jones, 33, aka Flacca, David Brian Lindsay, 33, aka Brown Iez, and Asa Houston, 36, aka Boogie, are accused of conspiring to kill Rondo and his inner circle as part of a revenge-driven scheme. Prosecutors also allege that Jones possessed a machine gun, which adds to the severity of the charges against him. All 5 men face federal charges, ranging from conspiracy to murder for hire. Federal agents arrested the 5 men on October 24th in a series of coordinated raids across Chicago, Gary, Indiana, and Addison, Illinois. Grant, Wilson, and Lindsay are currently held at the Winnebago County Jail, awaiting extradition to Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Houston and Jones are being held in federal custody at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago. Their arrests mark the culmination of months of investigation into the murder. However, just days later, Lil Durk himself was taken into custody, facing charges of his own for allegedly orchestrating the attack. Durk's arrest only deepened the intrigue. The rapper, born Durk Devontae Banks, was detained in Miami on a federal complaint accusing him of conspiring to murder a rival rapper. Prosecutors allege that Durk attempted to flee the country to avoid prosecution, booking multiple flights in an elaborate scheme to throw off investigators. According to federal affidavits, Durk reserved 2 commercial flights, one to Dubai and another to Switzerland, but didn't board either. His final move was chartering a private jet to Italy. FBI agents intercepted him at Miami's Opa-locka Executive Airport just hours before the flight was scheduled to depart. It was a calculated move that he believed could bypass federal jurisdiction, an FBI source said. But we had eyes on him the entire time. Durk's arrest, coupled with his associates' testimonies, paints a damning picture of the rapper's alleged involvement in the violent feud. Adding fuel to the fire are the haunting parallels between Durk's lyrics and his current legal troubles. Fans have revisited his 2022 track Federal Nightmares, noting eerie similarities between the song's themes and the ongoing case. In the song, Durk rapped, "Delete my iCloud if I think they really on me. Though when trial come, it ain't your phone, it be your homie. Though he on the stand with his head down like he don't know me. Though it ain't no point in no getting lawyer if your homie told." The lyrics now read like a grim prophecy, as the viral footage shows his alleged associates seemingly living out the exact scenario he described. Fans have taken to social media to highlight this connection, with one user writing, "Lil Durk predicted his own downfall." This case is not Durk's first brush with the law. His criminal history stretches back to 2011 when he was arrested for weapons charges. Over the years, he has faced multiple arrests and legal challenges. In September 2023, Durk took to social media to celebrate what he described as a fresh start, announcing that his criminal record had been expunged. "Everybody deserves second chances," he wrote. "Alhamdulillah, my background is wiped clean." Yet just weeks later, the rapper was in federal custody, accused of orchestrating a deadly attack that prosecutors argue contradicts his claims of reform. The alleged courtroom proceedings have shed light on the fragile nature of street loyalty when faced with the full weight of federal prosecution. What began as a seemingly tight-knit crew might unravel and lead to each man attempting to shift blame and reduce their own culpability. Grant, Wilson, and Lindsay's testimonies might end up being more useful than expected to the prosecution's case, and their cooperation could lead to reduced sentences. Meanwhile, Houston and Jones might also consider their positions if push cones to shiv. Legal experts predict that, as the case progresses, more shocking revelations could emerge. As the 5 defendants await their next court appearances, Lil Durk's legal team is gearing up for what promises to be a high-stakes trial. The viral footage has already shaped public perception, but the full scope of the evidence remains to be seen. Still, a closer look at the charges against each of the 5 men and the key pieces of evidence that could determine their fates. Who played what role and what motivated their alleged actions? The case against Lil Durk's hitmen. The streets of Los Angeles were never supposed to be a battleground for Chicago's Only the Family OTF collective. Yet, on August 19, 2022, the fallout from a feud born in the south side of Chicago spilled into the West Coast, leaving one man dead and 5 others tied to what prosecutors are calling a murder-for-hire plot. The indictment names 5 men allegedly tied to OTF, with connections that lead back to rapper Lil Durk himself. The roots of this case stretch back to November 6, 2020. According to federal documents, a high-ranking OTF member, referred to as DB, King Von, was gunned down in a nightclub in Atlanta during a fight with another man, identified as TB, Quando Rondo. The murder of King Von wasn't just a personal loss, it was a declaration of war. The indictment claims that an unnamed OTF leader, Lil Durk, referred to as co-conspirator 1, vowed revenge using coded language. A bounty was reportedly placed on Quando Rondo's head. The promise was clear. Anyone who carried out the hit would be paid in cash or rewarded with opportunities within the lucrative OTF music network. This wasn't street justice, it was organized, calculated, and deadly. Fast forward to August 2022. Federal investigators allege that the plot to kill Quando Rondo took a sharp turn when OTF members learned he was in Los Angeles. That's when the 5 accused hitmen made their move. Calvin London Grant reportedly flew into Los Angeles on a private jet, securing weapons, ski masks, and vehicles for the group. DeAndre Dontrell Wilson is alleged to have recruited the hitmen and handled travel logistics using OTF resources to fund the mission. Keith Jones, David Bryan, Lindsay, and Asa Houston were reportedly the boots on the ground, tailing their target across Los Angeles. On August 18th, the group rented cars, bought ski masks, and checked into a Los Angeles hotel using an OTF-linked credit card. The plan was simple but ruthless. Track Quando Rondo, ambush him, and eliminate him. By August 19th, the hitmen had Quando Rondo in their sights. Surveillance captured them trailing his black Escalade as it moved through Los Angeles. From a marijuana dispensary on Flower Street to a clothing store on Melrose Avenue, the group followed him relentlessly. The chase ended at a gas station on Beverly Boulevard. According to the indictment, the group divided into 2 cars, strategically parking to trap their target. Then, chaos erupted. Keith Jones and David Lindsay, armed with guns, including a fully automatic weapon, unleashed a hail of bullets at the Escalade. Their intended target, Quando Rondo, survived the attack, but Lul Pab, a passenger in the vehicle, was fatally struck. The mission, meant to be a calculated assassination, left behind a bloody and reckless crime scene. After the shooting, the hit squad didn't scatter. Instead, they regrouped at a local burger restaurant to discuss their next moves. Payments for the shooters were arranged, and flights back to Chicago were booked. Using an OTF-linked credit card once again, the group flew out of San Diego later that same day. For a while, it seemed like the hitmen had escaped unscathed, but federal agents were already piecing together the puzzle. By October 2024, arrests were made in multiple states, bringing the alleged OTF enforcers into custody. The case against these 5 men is bolstered by a mountain of evidence. Financial records, credit cards tied to OTF paid for flights, hotel rooms, and rental cars used in the operation. Surveillance footage. Cameras captured the hit squad tailing their target across Los Angeles. Digital communication, text messages, and social media posts allegedly show the group coordinating their moves. One critical text from Lil Durk read, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." In the days leading up to the murder, the group's movements were meticulously documented. From Wilson texting flight details to Houston's message about arriving at the airport, the digital trail is damning. The charges leveled against the 5 defendants are severe: conspiracy to commit murder for hire, for their alleged roles in planning and executing the hit; use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death; leveraging airplanes, rental cars, and other tools to carry out the plan; use of firearms in a crime of violence, including possession of a fully automatic weapon. Keith Jones faces an additional charge for knowingly carrying a machine gun equipped with an illegal conversion device. If convicted, these charges could lead to life sentences or worse. While Lil Durk isn't explicitly named in the indictment, the ties to his OTF collective are undeniable. Prosecutors allege that OTF wasn't just a music label, it was a criminal organization using its resources to further acts of violence. Durk himself is no stranger to legal trouble. He was arrested in Miami on charges related to this case, with allegations that he attempted to flee the country to avoid prosecution. Federal agents intercepted him at a private airport as he prepared to board a flight to Italy, marking another chapter in a saga that intertwines music, fame, and the streets. This case is more than just a courtroom drama. It's a spotlight on the blurred lines between hip-hop culture and criminal enterprise. For the defendants, it's a fight for their lives. For Lil Durk and OTF, it's a battle for their legacy. The fallout is already sending ripples through the industry. If convicted, the 5 accused hitmen could face decades in prison. For OTF, the reputation damage could could be catastrophic, threatening to unravel a brand built on street credibility and musical success. However, that already seems to be happening with news that Lil Durk and his shooters got themselves picked up in the first place due to snitch within their circle. Lil Durk and his shooters were betrayed. The hip-hop world is ablaze after revelations of betrayal shook Lil Durk's Only the Family OTF collective. As details of the rapper's indictment unravel, one thing is clear: someone from the inside was working against him, feeding authorities the kind of intel that only a trusted ally could provide. That someone, according to insiders, is none other than OTF Jam, a man Durk once considered a brother. Lil Durk has long been the voice of the streets, navigating fame while staying loyal to his roots. But even in the trenches, trust can be a dangerous gamble. The indictment against Durk centers on allegations that OTF Jam, a longtime member of the crew, wore a wire for years, secretly collecting evidence that tied the rapper to a murder-for-hire plot against rival rapper Quando Rondo. Fans were shocked, but maybe they shouldn't have been. Durk has been hinting at betrayal in his music for a minute. His track Federal Nightmares sounds almost prophetic now, with lyrics about homies turning on each other under pressure. Even 50 Cent saw it coming. During an October interview on The Breakfast Club, the rap mogul revealed he once advised Durk to keep a close watch on his circle. "We did a theme song for Power Book 4, Force, the Chicago version, and I was like, yo, this is them, just watch them, his crew," 50 said, reflecting on their work together. According to 50, Durk confided that strangers had shown up at his house.
When you said that to Durk, what was his response to you?
He said, "You know what?" He said, "Somebody just came in my house. How do they know exactly what the address is? That was my address to nobody."
The situation brought back memories of the 2021 home invasion at Durk's Braselton, Georgia mansion, where intruders broke in while Durk and his girlfriend, India Royale, were inside. The couple exchanged gunfire with the intruders but escaped unharmed. It's no wonder Durk was wary of his inner circle. The seeds of betrayal were already being planted. For years, Jam was a staple of OTF, a name Durk trusted. Released from prison in 2022 after serving a 12-year sentence for attempted murder, Jam was welcomed back into the fold with open arms. Interviews with Jam paint a picture of a man who saw Durk as family. In one, Jam reflected on how Durk's music helped him survive prison. "That was bro," Jam said. "Back before the fame and the money, he made a way for me to be straight. But the love didn't last." According to reports, Jam began working as an FBI informant shortly after his release, wearing a wire to secretly record conversations with OTF members, including Durk himself. Some say the tipping point came when Jam reached out for help, possibly legal aid or financial support, and felt ignored by Durk. In a conversation with DJ Academics, Trenches News claimed Jam's betrayal stemmed from feeling undervalued. "If you participate in a crime, you gotta feed the killers, man," Trenches said. "You gotta feed them all." The information Jam gathered allegedly linked Durk to the murder-for-hire scheme targeting Quando Rondo and his cousin Lil Pab. This plot, prosecutors argue, was retaliation for the 2020 killing of King Von, a close friend and OTF member. The feds acted fast, arresting Durk and several OTF members in October 2024. The indictment labeled OTF as a hybrid organization, blurring the lines between music and gang activity. According to prosecutors, Durk used his label not just as a platform for talent, but as a front for orchestrating violent crimes. The betrayal hit hard, and Durk clearly saw the walls closing in. Before his arrest, he tried to flee the country. Court documents reveal that the rapper booked multiple flights, first to Dubai, then to Switzerland, before arranging a private jet to Italy. But the FBI was already on his trail, intercepting him at Miami's Opa-locka Executive Airport before he could escape. These desperate moves suggest Durk knew someone from within was feeding the authorities. The indictment doesn't explicitly name Jam, but whispers from Chicago to LA leave little doubt. Within the hip-hop community, the fallout has been seismic. Fans and insiders are debating whether Jam's betrayal was inevitable or if Durk could have done more to prevent it. Some, like DJ Vlad, have called it a tragic but common outcome in street circles. "He did 12 years, got out, said he kept it real," Vlad noted in a recent interview. But eventually he flipped. Whack 100 echoed similar sentiments, adding that Jam's cooperation with the FBI may have been driven by self-preservation. Still, for many, this betrayal feels personal. OTF was built on loyalty. Durk himself called it only the family. But as the case unfolds, it's clear that trust within the crew was a fragile thing. This isn't just about one man turning on his team. The case against Durk and OTF highlights a much larger issue within hip-hop: the blurred lines between authenticity and criminality. For years, rappers have walked a fine line, using their street credibility as a badge of honor, while trying to elevate themselves into mainstream success. process. Durk's story, however it ends, will be a cautionary tale for others in the game. As 50 Cent pointed out in his interview, you gotta know who's really down for you and who's just around for the ride. As Durk sits in a federal cell awaiting trial, the betrayal of OTF Jam hangs over his head like a dark cloud. The once tight-knit crew is fractured, with rumors of more informants circulating. The hip-hop world is watching closely, not just to see how this case ends, but to see what it means for the culture. For Lil Durk, the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about fighting legal charges. It's about reclaiming his name, his legacy, and the loyalty he thought he had. What's next for Lil Durk and his hitmen? Lil Durk's meteoric rise from the streets of Chicago to the top of the rap game has been nothing short of remarkable. But now, the 32-year-old rapper finds himself in a fight for his life, facing federal charges for allegedly orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo. Durk is at risk of spending the rest of his life behind bars. Alongside him, 5 alleged members of his OTF crew are also implicated, with prosecutors painting a damning picture of a calculated scheme for revenge. As fans, critics, and the hip-hop community react to the allegations, the question on everyone's mind is simple. What's next for Lil Durk and the people who stood by him? Durk's legal troubles are stacked high. According to a superseding indictment announced by the Justice Department, he's facing charges of conspiracy, murder for hire resulting in death, and using firearms in furtherance of violent crime. If convicted, these charges carry life sentences, leaving no room for leniency. The alleged plot centers on the murder of Quando Rondo's cousin, who was shot and killed at a Los Angeles gas station in 2022. Prosecutors claimed the hit was retaliation for the 2020 death of King Von, Durk's close friend and OTF brother, who was killed during a confrontation with Rondo's crew. Durk is accused of financing the operation, with credit card records allegedly tying him to flights, hotel stays, and other logistics used by the hitmen. But Durk isn't facing these charges alone. His co-defendants, Calvin London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston, are all alleged to have played critical roles in carrying out the plot. Together, they're being charged with some of the most serious crimes in the legal system, making this case one of the biggest in hip-hop history. As the case unfolds, the internet has been flooded with rumors, with TikTok becoming a hotspot for speculation. Some users even claim that Durk could face the electric chair, sparking a wave of concern among fans. Posts like Indecisive Quan's video, where they joke, "Durk getting the electric chair, who the f we gonna listen to now?" have gone viral, fueling confusion about the rapper's fate. While the rumors are baseless, California abolished the death penalty in 2019. They highlight just how invested fans are in this case. The electric chair talk might be exaggerated, but it underscores the gravity of the situation. For many fans, the idea of losing Lil Durk to a life sentence is almost unthinkable. Durk's arrest was a dramatic moment in an already intense saga. Prosecutors claim he tried to flee the country, booking flights to Dubai, Switzerland, and Italy in an alleged attempt to avoid arrest. The FBI caught up with him at Miami's Opa-locka Executive Airport, detaining him just an hour before his private jet was set to take off. While some have argued that Durk wasn't trying to run but was instead checking for warrants, the optics don't look good. Under U.S. law, attempting to flee could lead to harsher penalties, including longer sentences if convicted. Even if his intent wasn't to evade justice, the accusations have added another layer of complexity to an already precarious case. Just weeks ago, Lil Durk was being celebrated for his community work. The village of Broadview honored him with a key to the village for his efforts through the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to uplifting youth and addressing mental health issues. But following his arrest, that recognition was swiftly revoked. Mayor Katrina Thompson explained the decision, stating that public figures must uphold the moral standards of the community. Losing this honor is more than just a symbolic blow. It's a setback to Durk's efforts to clean up his image and position himself as a role model. For Durk, who's worked hard to distance himself from his street past, this revocation feels like a step backward. It's a reminder that no matter how much good you do, your past can still come back to haunt you. Durk's connections extend beyond music and community work. He's also made waves in the political world. Last year, he donated $150,000 to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's political committee, making him one of the mayor's top contributors. But now, that donation is under scrutiny, with some calling for Johnson to return the money. The mayor, however, has stood by Durk, emphasizing the importance of due process. "I don't operate in feelings, I operate in truth and justice," Johnson said, refusing to make a judgment before the trial.
If you're asking me if I should make a judgment on a black man before a full trial has actually come to fruition, I hope you do understand why it is not my position to determine the outcome of someone's life.
This support could be a lifeline for Durk, but it's also a double-edged sword. While it shows that some believe in his potential for redemption, it also ties him to controversy. For Durk, maintaining these political connections could be crucial as he fights to rebuild his image. Durk's legal troubles have also taken a toll on his music career. His highly anticipated album, Deep Thoughts, was set to release on November 22nd, but has been delayed following his arrest. Fans who were already hyped after a fake track list for Love Songs 4, The Streets 3 went viral, are now left waiting. This delay is more than just an inconvenience. It's a reflection of how much this case has derailed Durk's momentum. The album was supposed to mark a turning point in his career, showcasing a more introspective side of the rapper. Now, its future is uncertain, much like Durk's own. As Durk awaits his trial, scheduled for January 2025, his future hangs in the balance. Prominent attorney Drew Findling has joined his legal team, bringing experience from representing high-profile clients like Cardi B and NBA YoungBoy. But even with a strong defense, the odds aren't in Durk's favor. If convicted, Durk could face life in prison, a devastating end for an artist who spent years trying to rise above the streets. His co-defendants, too, face similar sentences, adding to the weight of this case. For fans, this isn't just about losing a rapper. It's about watching a figure who's inspired millions struggle to overcome his past. Durk's story has always been one of resilience and contradiction, a tale of survival and loyalty in a world that often demands otherwise. But now that story is at a crossroads. Whether he can fight these charges and reclaim his legacy will depend on the strength of his defense, the loyalty of his team, and the truth that comes out in court. For more content like this, click on the videos showing on your screen now.